Conversion examples of active drug getting converted into an inactive metabolite is phenobarbital getting converted into hydroxyphenobarbital. Propranolol getting converted into hydroxypropranolol, metabolized, okay, or undergoing biotransformation. So these are inactive and they are polar, so they are going to get excreted out. Some of the drugs are active themselves and they get metabolized into active metabolites. And when that happens, the action or the duration of action of the drug will get prolonged, because the action will depend upon the active drug as well as now on the concentration of the active metabolite. So some examples of such drugs are diazepam gets converted into oxazepam, morphine gets converted into morphine 6-glucuronide, allopurinol gets converted into alloxanthine, imipramine gets converted into desipramine. Now these, I don't want to tell you the uses right now. Just remember these examples, and when you are taught systemic pharmacology, as I keep saying, you will understand the role, what are the uses and actions of these drugs. Now, another very important group, biotransformation of prodrugs, where an inactive drug, where a drug which is inactive per se is given, and it gets activated into the body or gets biotransformed into the body into an active metabolite. And the examples for this includes L-Dopa, which gets converted into dopamine, talampicillin, which gets converted into ampicillin, enalapril, which gets converted into enalaprilate, prednisone, which gets metabolized into prednisolone, acyclovir, which gets converted into acyclovir triphosphate. And like I said, we'll just talk about prodrugs in detail shortly. Right now, just remember, because you've not been taught about these drugs, so all these must be seeming like Greek to you, but just remember the concept and you'll understand the uses and roles as we teach them to you. Now, metabolism, where does it take place in the body? The most important site is the liver. Drug metabolism also takes place in the intestine, kidney, lungs, skin and plasma. No biotransformation takes place in the nails or the hair. Now, within the cell, the most important sites are the microsomes on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum in the cell, but there are non-microsomal sites also, which include the cytosol, mitochondria, and the nuclear membrane. So sites of metabolism, most important liver, within the cell, microsomes on smooth endoplasmic reticulum, non-microsomal sites, cytosol, mitochondria, and nuclear membrane. Okay, now these biotransformation reactions which take place can be categorized into two categories. I just want to, have you been taught these in biochemistry by any chance? Have you been taught these reactions in biochemistry by any chance? Okay, so xenobiotics, great. So I don't need to go into, great, very good. So these reactions, so I'll just summarize them for you. So these reactions can be categorized into phase 1 and 2 reactions. Phase 1 are non-synthetic reactions. They are primarily catabolic and they cause, they include oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis of the drug or the chemical, mostly microsomal enzymes, few may be non-microsomal, but phase 1 is predominantly microsomal enzymes. This reaction, phase 1 may follow phase 2, usually for phase 2 will follow phase 1. So phase 1 will be followed by phase 2 usually, and phase 1 may result in active as well as inactive drug moieties with altered properties. So phase 1 biotransformation may result in chemical transformation resulting in metabolites which have activity or are inactive. But if they have activity, the kinetic properties may be different, like the half-life of the drug or the duration for which the drug remains in the body may get prolonged. Phase 2, synthetic reactions. They are anabolic primarily. They follow phase 1 usually. And remember, usually, because sometimes a drug may undergo a synthetic anabolic phase 2 reaction only. And they include conjugation, glucuronidation, acetylation, sulfation, methylation, glutathione, conjugation. Okay, so these are some examples of conjugation which are there in phase 2. Usually the product is inactive, the conjugated product is inactive, it's polar, lipid insoluble and gets excreted. An exception to this is morphine 6-glucuronide. Morphine is an opioid analgesic which gets converted into morphine 6-glucuronide, which is an active analgesic drug. And phase 2 enzymes could be microsomal or non-microsomal in the cytoplasma, cytosol or mitochondria or nuclear membrane. So phase 2 could be microsomal or non-microsomal, but phase 1 was predominantly microsomal. Now, let's come to so we've talked about the sites, we've considered the types of reactions which take place, and now let's talk about the enzymes involved. So enzymes are classified, enzymes involved in biotransformation are categorized into two main groups, microsomal, non-microsomal. Microsomal are present, like I said, in the microsomes on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, in the liver, intestine. They include the they are the mixed function oxidases, and microsomal enzymes are involved in phase 1 reaction, and in phase 2 only glucuronide conjugation, no other conjugation. Non-microsomal enzymes are there in cytoplasma, mitochondria, plasma, nuclear membrane. They include many enzymes, monoamine oxidases, esterases, amidases, transferases. They include all phase 2 reactions except glucuronidation, which takes place by microsomal enzymes. Now, these enzymes involved in biotransformation have some properties. They are inducible, only microsomal, but microsomal enzymes are inducible. They can be inhibited by other drugs, chemicals. They are proteins who are synthesized by expression of by gene expression, and gene expression can exhibit polymorphism, resulting in synthesis of enzymes with altered activity ranging from excess activity to no activity. For example, succinylcholine or succinylcholine, a muscle relaxant, is metabolized by pseudocholine esterases. Now, this enzyme exhibits genetic polymorphism, and patients exhibiting genetic polymorphism could be metabolizing succinylcholine very slowly, resulting in prolonged duration of action. And this drug is given as a muscle relaxant in anesthesia. So when the surgery, I'm repeating this example because I've given this to you, I think, in the last class also. So at the end of surgery, you want the patient to recover. You want the muscle relaxant effect to go so that the person can start breathing voluntarily. So in patients who have an atypical pseudocholine esterase, the metabolism of succinylcholine is prolonged, and the patient may have apnea. May not be able to breathe if oxygen is removed. So voluntary breathing after surgery takes longer to happen if the patient have an atypical pseudocholine esterase. Another example is acetyltransferase, which also exhibits genetic polymorphism. It's involved in metabolism of a number of drugs like INH. And you have slow acetylators, intermediate acetylators, and rapid acetylators, all of which are determined genetically. Okay, so these are very important properties because it is these, these three properties of these enzymes which will affect how the drug is getting metabolized. Will tell what will happen if more than one drug is given simultaneously to a person, whether the two drugs can interact at the enzyme level. And as you'll understand this as I give you more examples. So the most important microsomal enzyme is the cytochrome P450 enzyme system. I think you already know about it, and before showing this slide, I wish I had asked you. So cytochrome P450 enzyme system, also known as P450 monooxygenase system, is a large superfamily of heme proteins. And it is a large family contain a large family of isoenzymes which differ in their amino acid configuration, in the inducers, that is the chemicals that can induce the synthesis of that enzyme, the chemical which can inhibit the action of that enzyme, and they act on distinct or overlapping substrate specifications. So these isoenzymes may act on separate substrates, but there may be some amount of overlapping so that more than one isoenzyme is acting on more than one substrate. So there is overlapping substrate specification. And this overlapping, that is more than one chemical acting on the isoenzyme, can result in drug interactions. And there are many drug interactions that you are going to be studying. With each drug, there are going to be drug interactions. So a little bit more about the microsomal cytochrome P450 enzyme system. What does the P stand for? Okay, so now you tell me, why is this cytochrome P450 enzyme system known as P450? Yes? Why is this enzyme system known as microsome? Because it's located in the microsome. Cytochrome P450 enzyme system. Why is it known as the cytochrome P450 enzyme? Yes, Shashwat, you're absolutely right. Maximum absorbance at 450 nanometers. It shows a peak at 450 nanometers. Excellent. And why P? What is the P for? All right, absolutely right. What is the P for? P stands for? Does anybody remember? Okay, so, and why cytochrome? P is pink. Yes, Abhilasha. P pigment. P is for pigment and 450 is the wavelength at which maximum absorption occurs, Shinu. Absolutely right. So, and why cytochrome? Heme containing. Anything else for cytochrome? So, microsomal cytochrome enzyme system. What was the cytochrome enzyme system that you studied? This is something you have to tell. You will go back. ETC, what is ETC, Bhuvan? So P is the reduced form of the enzyme in presence of carbon monoxide, gives a pink color, and the maximum absorption occurs at 450 nanometers. Yes, electron transport chain. So the cytochrome enzyme system is involved in transfer of electrons, redox reactions. So P450 monooxygenase system. Now you know what P, cytochrome, P and 450 stand for. Large family of isoenzymes, which I've already told you, differ. So P is for pink, 450. Now cytochrome, there are 74 cytochrome gene families. Okay, but as far as drug metabolism and biotransformation is concerned, 3 are important: cytochrome 1, cytochrome 2 and cytochrome 3 family. And these are the ones you'll keep coming across as we go on. Now, almost cytochrome P450 enzymes make up 20% of the protein content The mixed function oxidases can act on a wide spectrum of substances, diverse substrates. So with that background about the cytochrome P450, what is it and the function it does? The function it does is of transferring electrons in redox reactions. And the cofactor NADPH would also be involved in it. Now, let's go next to the So, like I said, there are 74 there is a superfamily with 74 families, of which 1 to 3 are most important as far as drugs are concerned. There are subfamilies named alphabetically A, B, C, D, E, and then for isoenzymes, another number is given. So which will come in front of the alphabet. I'll just show you some names. So one example could be 1 cytochrome A1. So family 1, subfamily A, isoenzyme 1. In humans, 12 cytochromes, 12 subfamilies are most important. And they are, oh, I'm so sorry, the slide has, it's moved. I'm very sorry for this, but now let's just go on. So this was family 1, 1A1. So the 12 cytochrome families which are there in humans, 1A1, 1A2, 1B1, and into 2B1, 2A6, 2B6, 2C9, 2C19, 2D6, 2E1, and 2C8. So one family, the 2 family, please write all these here. This should be together. And the family, I hope this slide, so families are most important. 1A1, 1A2, 1B1. The 2 is comprising of all these isoenzymes, cytochrome families, and 3A4 and 3A5. Now, most important cytochrome enzyme family is of cytochrome 3A4, followed by cytochrome 2D6, and then 2C9, 2C19, 2E1, and of course 2C8. So, these 12 are present in humans. Of these 12 cytochrome families, 3A4 is most important, followed by 2D6, then 2C8, 2C9, 2C19, 2E1, and 3A5. I hope it's clear. I just want you to get a concept that there are many cytochrome enzyme families, out of which 12 cytochrome families are there in humans, which metabolize drugs. And of these, 3 are the 3 families, 1, 2, and 3 are important. And in subfamilies, these, the ones which are colored, most important are 3A4, 2D6, and the ones which are colored green. As you study systemic pharmacology, you will keep coming across drug interactions involving these cytochrome enzymes. So I want you to remember 3A4 and 2D6 especially. And of course, it's not that the others are not important. All these 12 cytochrome families are important, but the ones which I have colored is in decreasing order of importance. So just a few words about 3 or 4 of the important cytochrome families. Cytochrome 3A4. This is one of the most important cytochrome isoenzyme group. It is involved in metabolism about 50% of the drugs present in liver, intestine, kidney, and it can be induced, the expression of this enzyme can be induced by barbiturates, carbamazepine, phenytoin, rifampicin. And let me tell you, the examples I have put are the most common examples which you will see as the year will go, and it makes sense to start remembering these right now. Inhibitors of expression of this cytochrome 3A4 would be erythromycin, clarithromycin, ketoconazole, fluconazole, verapamil, diltiazem, and ritonavir. You'll see this is not ritonavir. This is ritonavir, VIR. Okay. The second group I had told you, cytochrome 2D6, involved in metabolism of 25 to 30% of the drugs. It has more than 100 drug substrates. Inducers are less common, unknown. Inhibitors include drugs like quinidine, fluoxetine, and exhibits genetic polymorphism is lesser in this group. But one very classic example is codeine, which is an opioid drug. Codeine gets metabolized into morphine. So it's an opioid drug which also has analgesic action. The analgesic action of codeine is due to its conversion into morphine. So in people exhibiting genetic polymorphism of this cytochrome enzyme, conversion of codeine into morphine can be decreased, and these patients may not have the same analgesic action of codeine as would maybe seen in normal people. So people having exhibiting genetic polymorphism with decreased activity of the cytochrome enzyme involved in conversion of codeine into morphine may exhibit lesser analgesic action of codeine. Is it clear? Is this clear? Is this example clear? I'm waiting for your response. Okay, Bhuvan, thank you. Thank you, Shashwat. Okay, another enzyme, cytochrome 2C9, involved in 15 to 18% of metabolism of drugs, 60 drug substrates. Some commonly used drugs are involved, phenytoin, warfarin. Inducers include barbiturates, rifampicin. So these two are a classic example of enzyme inducers, okay, barbiturates and rifampicin. Inhibitors include fluconazole and fluvastatin. Like I'm again repeating, these will be the classic drug interactions that you will come across as the year will go by. Cytochrome 2C19, involved in metabolism of more than 50 drug substrates, and 12 to 15 of these are frequently used drugs, including omeprazole and diazepam. Omeprazole is a drug used in gastritis, peptic ulcer. It's very commonly used. And diazepam is a benzodiazepine used for sedation, as a hypnotic, sedative, anti-anxiety drug, muscle relaxant, and so on. So very commonly used drugs. Inducers of this enzyme include, again, barbiturates and rifampicin. So barbiturates is a group of drugs not used very commonly now. It's at least not as commonly as it used to be used before. But rifampicin is a drug used commonly for treatment of predominantly tuberculosis. Cytochrome 1A1, 1A2, few drugs are metabolized, but also among those 12 subfamilies that I talked about. So theophylline, warfarin, clomipramine, paracetamol. Inducers again include barbiturates, rifampicin, carbamazepine. This is an anti-epileptic drug. Pollutants, which are some of them are pro-carcinogens, smoking, charcoal broiled meat. Okay, so please read this. Charcoal broiled meat, smoking is an inducer of cytochrome enzymes. And when you induce this enzyme, formation of metabolites which are pro-carcinogenic can occur. So these are some ways by which pollutants which are pro-carcinogenic, smoking, etc., cause cancer. By inducing enzymes involved in their metabolism, they result in formation of carcinogenic substances. Am I audible? Am I audible? Thank you, Ajay. Okay. Cytochrome 2E1. Few drugs are metabolized like general anesthetics, halothane, enflurane. Alcohol is metabolized by 2E1. Paracetamol, again a commonly used drug, minor pathway metabolized by this enzyme. This can result if too much activity of, if this enzyme is induced, it can result in increased metabolism of paracetamol by this pathway, and it can form toxic metabolites. Epoxides can get generated, which are hepatotoxic. So paracetamol, increased metabolism of paracetamol can result in generation of reactive moieties, reactive moieties, that is epoxides, which react with tissues, hepatocellular cells, and are hepatotoxic. So inducer of this is cytochrome 2E1, and inhibitor of this enzyme is disulfiram. Is what I've said clear? Is it clear so far? Okay. So these are, right now it looks very theoretical, and I'll just build up on this. So cytochrome P4, we're just talking again about that. We talked about what they are, where they are located, what do they do, the nomenclature, which are the most important cytochrome enzyme, isoenzyme families and subfamilies. So 3 families, 1, 2, 3 are important, and in these 3, total of 12 cytochrome subfamilies are important in drug metabolism, and of that cytochrome 3A4, 2D9 are the most important. Okay, and they exhibit genetic polymorphism. So depending on the kind of genetic polymorphism exhibited, you may have greater metabolism or slower metabolism of a particular drug. Now, the only conjugation which takes place in the microsomes is, we're talking about the microsomal enzymes. So the one big group was cytochrome P450 enzyme system comprising of mixed function oxidases. Now let's go on to the microsomal enzymes involved in glucuronide conjugation. And which is the enzyme involved? Glucuronyl transferase. From uridine, it acts upon UDP, glucuronic acid, and transfers it, conjugates bilirubin, morphine, paracetamol, aspirin, diazepam. So all these drugs and endogenous substances undergo glucuronide conjugation and most of them get less active, except for morphine. Morphine 6-glucuronide has activity. Okay, and when these compounds get conjugated, they get excreted in the feces. They become polar, lipid insoluble, and get excreted in the micro, except there are so many examples. N-acetyl conjugation, enzyme involved is N-acetyl transferase, involved in acetyl